Hello everybody, my name is Simone Dovell and I'm here today to talk to you about the short story Mama's Bank Account. This is the third part of a three-part lesson. So it's the final part of this lesson on Mama's Bank Account. This is a short story for 3 points literature. So for this lesson today, students, you are going to need a pen or pencil, your notebook, and an electronic dictionary or a regular dictionary, whatever you feel comfortable using. Students, can you say that you can understand the connection between the writer of this story and the story? We talked a little bit about this in the first and the second lesson. Remember, the writer of this story is Catherine Forbes. Can you plan and write a short, creative text which shows an understanding of this story? And can you present a short dialogue? I hope at the end of this lesson, all of you will be able to say that you can do all of these things. So just to remind you what we did in part 2. Part 2, we read the rest of the story, Mama's Bank Account, and we also learnt what it means to compare something, to compare telephones or to compare people in the story. And we also talked about we presented and learned to dialogue, and the question that I asked you was, is it wrong to lie or tell an untruth? Why or why not? And we talked about that, and you also then spoke about that. So now, students, we're going to talk a little bit more about the story, and we're going to learn a little bit more about this story. So firstly, students, we want to connect the writer to the story. By understanding a little bit more about the writer, Catherine Forbes, we can understand a little bit more about the story. So the writer or author, as I said, is Catherine Forbes. Here's a picture of her. And the question, we're going to read something short. And the question is, what is the connection between the writer and the story? So let's read this together, students, and you try and think while I'm reading, what is the connection between the writer and the story? Catherine Anderson Forbes was born in 1908 in San Francisco, USA. Her grandmother came from Norway in the late 1800s. Mama's Bank Account, her most famous book, was written in 1943. Later, a movie and a successful TV show were made. In the book Mama and Her Bank Account, Catherine Anderson Forbes writes about her childhood and some of the difficult times her family had. Can you see the connection between Catherine Forbes and the story Mama's Bank Account? One of the connections we spoke about in lesson 1 and lesson 2. Remember, I told you that the setting of this story, where the story happens, is in San Francisco. How did I know that? I knew that because I knew that this story was a little bit about Catherine herself, and she lived in San Francisco, America. So what else can you see in that text here that tells you that there is a connection between the writer and the story? Can you find the connection? If you said it's in the last line of this text, then you were right. Catherine Anderson Forbes writes about her childhood and some of the difficult times her family had. So yes, so we can see that Katrine in this story is actually Catherine. When she says I, she's talking about I. And also when she talks about her family, then that is actually Catherine's family. Maybe not all of the people in the story are the same as Catherine's family, but maybe they are. We don't know. Okay, so now students, I want you to write something short about this story, but also about yourselves. So here is the question. This is what we need to do. We need to, firstly, I want you to think, what do you do to help your family? Can you write 5 sentences? You can use the words, the examples of the words underneath. The second part of this question, this post-reading, is who in the story does something similar to what you do? So what you need to do is first you need to write sentences about things that you do to help your parents or your brothers or sisters at home. And then you need to think in the story, when did they talk about how they helped the different family members? What did they do to help? The last part of the post-reading is to write a note to this character and explain what you do to help at home. You can use this structure, or you can use something else. It's up to you. You can write freely. You don't have to use this, but this can help you. So let me just read it. Dear, and that's the person in the story, I want to tell you what I do to help at home. First, I, like you. Then my mother or father are happy because I will write again soon, love. Again, you can use this or you can write your own with your own words completely. So let's see the first part again and what kind of sentences can we write? I want you students in your notebooks to write 5 sentences about how you help your parents. So 1, I take. What do you take? I try to, I work, I help with, I give, I help my, I go, I play, I visit. Can you think of some sentences? Write them now, 5 sentences in your notebook about things that you do to help your parents or your brothers and sisters at home. Are you writing? I hope so. I'm going to now give you some examples. Again, this will help you write your own sentences. So I wrote, what do you do to help your family? I take my brother to school. Maybe you don't take your brother to school, you take your sister to school. I help with the washing. Maybe you don't help with the washing, maybe you help with the cooking. You can write whatever you want, whatever is right for you. I help my sister do homework, or I help my brother do homework. I visit my grandmother and grandfather, or I visit somebody else, and this helps your mother and father. I work to pay for my clothes. All of these sentences are fine. I hope that you came up with your own sentences, but you can use these sentences to help you. Okay? So let's continue. So now remember the next part was to look in the story and find examples of people in the story, characters in the story, who do something similar to what you do. So I looked for the words help, work, and I found all sorts of examples. I found Nels, who said, I will work in Dylan's grocery after school. Nels volunteered. I found Papa, and he said he will give up tobacco. Do you remember that in the story? And then remember Katrine said about her and Christine, I will look after the Elvington children. Mama also, when Papa went out on strike, do you remember? Mama helped out at Krupa's bakery because there was no money coming into the house. And Papa washed bottles at the creamery. And then at the end of the story, do you remember what Katrine did when she got her first paycheck? She rushed over to Mama and she put the check in her Mama's lap. So all of these sentences show the people and how the different people in the story and how they helped the family. Okay, so do you do some of these things as well? Now, the last part is to write the note. Again, these are all just examples. It would be much better if you wrote your own. You can look at this to help you, but the idea is that you try and write your own that is right for you. So I decided to write about Katrine and Christine and how they look after children. They babysit. Dear Katrine and Christine, I want to tell you what I do to help at home. First, I look after children like you and give some money to my parents. Then I work to pay for my clothes. My mother is, or I could say my mother and father are. I can't say my mother are. My mother is happy because I help out at home. I will write again soon. Love, Simone. Maybe this is right for you. Maybe it's not. If it's not, then you should write your own that is about you. Again, look at the story, see which sentences you can find about the people in the story that help, and then see how you help. So now, students, remember what happened at the end of the story with Mama's bank account? And we found out that Mama didn't have a bank account, but Katrine didn't know that. So what did Katrine say when she said, her mother said, I don't want to go to the bank. So Katrine said, that won't be necessary, Mama. See, I've written my name on the back of the check. Do you know what a check is, students? We'll have a look in a moment. Just hand it to the teller. He'll deposit it in your account. So a check, if you have a look in this picture, you can see there's a check. Sometimes people give us checks and then we take it to the bank and we give it to the person at the bank and they are called the teller. And that person takes the money and deposits it, puts it into our bank account. Okay, so that's what Katrine wanted her mother to do. Do you know how to do that, students? Do you know how to deposit a check in the bank? Do you know how to go to the bank and use the bank? If you were in America, could you manage in English? Could you speak in English to the teller and ask to deposit money in an account? So here's a check. Again, we said a check is a piece of paper that is written. People give you money. They don't give you money like that. They give you in a piece of paper and then you take it to the bank and you deposit it in the bank. So let's remind ourselves about some of the words that we need now, because now, students, we're going to learn how to deposit or how to withdraw, take out money from the bank. Okay, so Mama's bank account, she didn't have a bank account. She had a little bank and it was a box. And she put notes and bills and coins in the little bank. So she put the money or the cash. She didn't have any checks. Only when Katrine brought her the check did she have a check. But up till then, she only had cash money. She had coins and notes and bills. That's all she had. So in a bank, we have two types of accounts. We have a savings account and we have a checking account. We learned the word to save last lesson. When you save something, you keep the money for when you need it. And we talked about how important it is to save money. And a checking account is a regular account. And they are both in the bank. You can have two accounts in the bank. You can have a savings account and a checking account. So here are some of our new words. Can you add them in the sentences here? Try and do that while I'm reading the sentences, and then we will check your answers. I would like to take out from I have 200 shekels in, and I would like to deposit, to put in 300 shekels in my. So which words do you think? These are all the new words that we learned: money, savings account, note, bills, coins, checking account, and cash. Can you fill in the missing words? Have you filled them in yet? I hope so. Let's check your answers now to see if you got it right. I would like to take out money from my checking account. Is there another word that you can put here? Of course there is. You can say money out of my savings account. You can say cash out of my savings account. There are a few options here. I have 200 shekels in coins and notes and bills, or bills. I would like to deposit 300 shekels cash in my savings account. You can also deposit money in your checking account. So there are a few options here. If you wrote something else, that is fine, students. So now, students, let's talk about what happens if you fly to America. In America, everyone speaks English, and you are going to need to take out money from a bank. How are you going to do that? You need to do it in English. What are you going to do? So let's learn now how English can help us go to the bank and take out money. So students, there's something called an ATM. Do you know what an ATM is? Let's see what an ATM is.
First, insert your debit card into the slot. Next, enter your personal identification number and press enter. Then, choose the transaction of account balance. Choose the account type you would like to check. Your account balance will be printed on your receipt. Don't forget to take your card. After inserting your card and entering your PIN, choose Cash Withdrawal and the account type. Choose the amount of money to withdraw. Take your money from the cash dispenser. Don't forget your receipt and card.
Okay, students, so can you guess what an ATM is? While we go to break, I want you to think of what an ATM is, and then after the break, we're going to talk about it. Goodbye. Students, during the break, did you think about what an ATM is? Did you guess? Do you know what an ATM is? An ATM is something, it's an abbreviated word. Each letter stands for another word. An ATM is an automated teller machine. It's instead of the teller in the bank. So when you go and take out money, you don't have to go into the bank. You can go to the bank and go to the ATM and take out money. And it's instead of going to the teller. Okay? So in America, we call this an ATM. So if you want to find an ATM, you have to ask someone, where is the ATM? And they will help you find one. And the ATM, you can also check your account balance. You can see here that today we can use our phone to check the account balance because we have a lot of functions on our phone that will help us. But if we don't have the way to check our account balance on our phone, we can use the ATM to check our balance. And there is something called a credit card and a debit card. Most of you will have debit cards. That means that when you take out money from your account, immediately the account it decreases. You get less money in your account. A credit card is something that you pay at the end of the month and it's not necessarily linked to your account. Now, when in the video you saw, she inserted the card, entered the card into the ATM. That is to insert the card. And then she put in her PIN number. Again, this is an abbreviated word. Each letter at the beginning stands for something. Personal identification number. In Israel, you also have your PIN number, your personal identification number that you use when you go to the ATM. Then at the end, she said you get a receipt. A receipt you can get to show the money that you've taken out of the ATM, but you also get receipts when you buy something at the supermarket or at a shop. You can get a receipt. And to withdraw money means to take out money. And this we call a cash withdrawal. I hope, students, that while I am going through the slides, you are writing the new words. You are going to need those new words. So please write these words and so that you have them. Okay, so now students, let's see if you understood those words and you can use them. Let's have a look. When I want to withdraw money, what does it mean to withdraw money? To take out money from I can use the word ATM, insert, debit, credit card, cash. Which one do you want to use, students? I couldn't find receipt is a word that can help you answer the rest. When I checked I was surprised too. I want you students to add in these words, but to also add in your own words. Can you do that, students? You can use these words and then add in your own words. Complete the sentences with other words. So let's have a look at some examples of things that I did and see if you can also do other things or similar things. When I want to withdraw money from the ATM, I insert my debit card and get cash. Did you see how I completed the sentence? I used the new words and then I added my own words. I couldn't find the receipt for the shirt I wanted to change, so I couldn't change it at the shop. And when I checked the account balance of my bank account, I was surprised to see a deposit of 200 shekels that were not mine. Students, can you do that? Can you add in the words that I suggested you add in and add in your own words? Try and do that. Or if you don't have time now, that's fine. Afterwards, after the lesson, you can take the sentence and then add in your own words. So now, students, let's watch the video again. Now you are going to understand the whole video and all of the new words. Look for the new words that we learnt.
First, insert your debit card into the slot. Next, enter your personal identification number and press enter.
You know all of these words, students.
Then, choose the transaction of account balance. Choose the account type you would like to check. Your account balance will be printed on your receipt. Don't forget to take your card.
Don't forget to take your card, students, after any transaction.
After inserting your card and entering your PIN, choose Cash Withdrawal and the account type. Choose the amount of money to withdraw. Take your money from the cash dispenser. Don't forget your receipt and card.
Okay, students, so we saw that video twice so that it will help you to, firstly, all the words you knew by the second time, and I want you to try now and use those words. I am sure now that you can go to an ATM in America and you can withdraw money by yourselves. You will understand all of the English. So now, students, speak up. You can speak English. I want you to talk to your friend about using an ATM. And we are going to practice a dialogue between two friends. And then I want you to present the dialogue. Each of you decide on one of the people you want to be. And then I want you to try and make up your own dialogues. So let's go. Let's have a look. So here's the dialogue. You can see shir and run. And you have to match shir to run. Okay? So first have a look. You have to, the black to the red. I'm going to the bank. What's that? No, he wouldn't say that. He would know what a bank is. But maybe I'm going to the bank if Shir says, and then maybe Run would say, what do you need to do at the bank? I need to withdraw some money. Oh, that makes sense. And then how are you going to do that? So can you see how I'm matching? You try and do it now, and let's check your answers if you got it right. I'm going to the bank. I need to withdraw some money. I'll just use the ATM. It's the automatic teller machine. I just insert my debit card into the machine. Yes, you can withdraw money from your bank account. I'm going to give you a clue, students, a hint. All of the black, that's the first, it goes in order. So you just have to match black to the red, to the question. Ran is asking Shil all the questions and she's answering. Did you find the link? Let's check to see if you got it right. Shil, I'm going to the bank. What do you need to do at the bank? I need to withdraw some money. How are you going to do that? I'll just use the ATM. What's that? It's the automatic teller machine. It gives you money? I just insert my debit card into the machine. And that is it? The ATM gives you money? Yes, you can withdraw money from your bank account. Can you please show me how to use the ATM? Ran has lots of questions for Shil because Shil knows how to withdraw money from the ATM. You also know how to withdraw money from the ATM. So if your friend asks you, you have all of the answers. Now, students, I want you to try and remember. Can you remember what Shil said and fill in the missing words? I'm going to the... What do you need to do at the bank? I need to... some money. How are you going to do that? I'll just use the... What's that? It's the automatic teller machine. It gives you money. I just... my debit card into the machine. And that is it? The ATM gives you money? Yes, you can withdraw money from your... Can you please show me how to use the ATM? So this is Shil that you have to fill in. Did you manage to do it? I'm sure you did. Let's check your answers. Going to the bank, right? I need to withdraw some money. I'll use the ATM. I just I put in my debit card and I can withdraw money from my bank account. Now, students, let's see if you remember how to complete Run's side of the dialogue. I'm going to the bank. What do you need to do at the... I need to withdraw some money. How are you going to do that? I'll just use the ATM. It's the automatic teller machine. It gives you... I just insert my debit card into the machine. And that is it? The gives you money? Yes, you can withdraw money from your bank account. How to use the ATM? Do you remember how to complete Run's part of the dialogue? Fill it in now. I'm sure you all know how to do that. And you're almost ready to stand up in pairs and to tape yourselves presenting your part of the dialogue. So let's check you. I'm going to the bank. What do you need to do at the bank? I need to withdraw some money. How are you going to do that? It gives you money. The ATM gives you money. Can you please show me how to? Did you get it right? I'm sure you did. So now, students, I want you to try and make up your own dialogue. After you have presented Shil and Ran's dialogue, each of you have got up and you've said each part of the dialogue, then I want you to make up your own dialogue. So what do you need to do? Firstly, you need to decide what you want to speak about. So you could make up your own dialogue about opening up a bank account. You would have to go to the bank. You would have to speak to a teller at the bank account. And maybe if you go to America and you go for a long time, you will want to open up a bank account. So this is good practice for you. Maybe you want to practice a dialogue opening a savings account in the bank. You're living in America for a year, you took a year off, and you're making money and you want to save money. So you want not just a checking account, you also want a savings account. So you can practice a dialogue with a teller opening up a savings account. Depositing money in the bank. You get cash, you have coins and bills and notes. What do? You go to the bank and you deposit the money in the bank. So you can write a dialogue practicing that at the bank. Or depositing a check in the bank, like Katrine wanted her mother to do in her bank account, which she didn't have. You could also practice a dialogue. You can use Sheila and Ran's dialogue to help you. Sheila could be maybe the teller and Ran could be you depositing the money or taking out money or opening an account. Whatever you want. So students, that is your task for after this lesson. You have two tasks actually. One is to present the dialogue and the second thing is to make up your own dialogue. I am sure with all of the words that we have learnt, you can all do that. So here's an example that I wrote. Again, I did the teller and I did Run. Hello, can I help you? Yes, I would like to open a bank account. Do you want to open a checking account or a savings account? I want to open a savings account. Okay, I need your ID card or a passport. I have my ID card. To open a savings account, you need a minimum of 200 shekels. I have 300 shekels. Please fill in this form and then I will deposit the 300 shekels into your new savings account. Thank you. This is a good example for you to help you write your own dialogue. But you don't have to use that. You can only use it if you want to. It's even better if you don't use it and you use your own words. So now, students, can you say that I can understand the connection between the writer and the story, Mama's Bank Account? I think you can. Can you say that you can plan and write a short, creative text which shows that you have understood the story? I think you can. And can you present a short dialogue and even make up your own dialogue? I'm sure you can. So well done, students. It has been lovely teaching you again the story Mama's Bank Account. I will see you again in another lesson. Goodbye.